Hi, my name is Jewel. I'm a nurse, and I'm going to show you my favorite workout that gets me going after my back wants to give out. And I said, no, we got to keep going. Okay. All right. This is the robot walk. It is the most underrated exercise that anyone can do. You can sit down, stand up, and it helps with all kinds of pain. So let's see. Wednesday, my hip was, I don't know, out to here, and it hurt. So I did one of those tricks. Have you guys ever seen this? Let me show you. So let's bring it down. Get my little mat. Okay. So this one is really good. You're going to want some kind of bar. Want it pretty strong because I might have been known to break broom handles and, those kinds of things. So this one, you're just going to lay on the floor. Oh, let's see. Can you see me? All right. Lay on the floor. All right. So we're going to start laying down on the floor. My hip was completely out. You're going to start laying down on the floor. There's tons of videos on how to do this. But this popped my hip right into place. And remember, this is not medical advice. I am not PT. I'm not your doctor. I'm none of those things. But I wanted to share it with you what helped me. So you basically take your leg, and one goes under and one goes over, and it's like a push-pull movement. So you push one leg, the one that's on top, and you're going to pull with the one that's on bottom. And then I lift it up again. Well, this time I just held for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put down and rest. Then you're just going to do a couple of sets of that. Then if that doesn't work, then in between, you're going to want to stand up. And you're going to want to check. All right, how did that feel? Did that feel good? How did my hips feel? You're going to walk. Did that alleviate pain? And if it didn't, you're going to sit back down. You're going to sit back down, and you're going to do the other side. So I will put it now over my left leg, over my right, and you're going to push, pull. Same thing. And then you're also going to try to hold this bar very steady. And this is the part where we sometimes break the rod. So having a more sturdy rod is really good. Some kind of wooden dowel or something that can withstand all the pressure. You're going to do it again. Same thing, a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is my favorite exercise, but we're on, I don't know, we're on Saturday now. So this was, I think, Wednesday when my hip got popped out. Okay, so after you do those exercises, or that little, I call it the hip popper backer, and I don't know. I know there's other ways to do that, but that is what has worked for me now 2 times. Okay. So after that, those are great for, I don't know if it's a ligament or muscles. I'm not 100% sure on what exactly has happened. If I know there's probably a number of different causes that could have happened, that could have caused it. So best check with your doctor and your PT before you try any of these things. But so after I did that, I like to reset things. Like, our body is full of lots of fascia. There's all kinds of lines all over it. And fascia is basically, so you got bone. So you got all your bones, right? You got your big bones, your small bones, I don't know, lots of bones. And then on your bones, you got muscle and tendon and fascia, and they're all connected to the bone. And the fascia is like these bands. So we have all kinds of our muscle, and then we have these bands, and these bands are kind of like fascia. So there is a lot of debate on how they're kind of connected with the body. But have you ever, in nursing school, I worked with cadavers, and you can kind of see you could see the fascia all connected. So let's say that this is our fascia. It's like a rubber band. And if you ever follow different works, it shows you that there's different fascia lines in the body. So sometimes they're like, we can have front lines, they just go straight up and down. Some are actually spiraled, they go here. So, when you move, and so what happens sometimes when we have a lot of dysfunctions, we use them wrong. So, we're stressed, we tense up our shoulders. Oh, there's a knot. We just are so tired and we just don't know what to do. So we get another knot. And then this causes us to kind of shrink. Another thing that can happen that can cause these, if we don't use our full range of motion when we're doing things. So the biggest thing is when we are working out, if we're not lifting if not going through the whole range of motion, that can cause our muscle fibers to kind of shrink. So over time, we build up all of these little knots, right? So say we get another knot, and then we're just wondering, why is that hurt? We can't, we're kind of stuck. And so our pelvis gets stuck, our arms get stuck, and everything is kind of connected, remember? Even if it's here, it kind of pulls. So something might pull from here to here. So that's where a lot of those balls, let's see. So we have lots of different things. We have lots of little toys, right? The little balls. These balls are beautiful. They're great for laying on. You just lay on them, put them somewhere. And then we have Barricanes. I know some people really like those sports massage guns. I don't really care for those. But there's a lot of different tools that you can use to roll out. They have foam rollers. So the idea is you take this and then you lay on that knot and you're going to feel pain, right? And you're going to breathe through it. You're going to breathe until you feel that pain. And it starts kind of releasing those knots. Hopefully. I don't know everything, but I know that this is what it does for me. Because I feel relief in that area and I'm able to move more. But sometimes when we start working out all those knots, it's kind of like they want to go back to their familiar pattern. They want to go back to what they're used to. They want to go back to the old. But we want a new body. We want to feel good, right? So one of my favorite things it's one of the most easiest things. You don't need a gym. You don't need any equipment. You just need your muscles, and you have to really focus because this is like literally a whole body exercise. It's from basically you have to engage the top of your head, where your head's positioned, all the way down to the bottom of your feet. And that's why they call it the world famous robot walk. So the robot walk is basically you're walking like a robot. Have you ever played as a kid and just did the robot and you're just like, or I don't know, toy soldier, robot walk? I call it the robot walk because it makes people understand a little bit more. And you just opposite arm, opposite leg, go out in front. We're gonna go side. You're gonna go opposite arm, opposite leg. This is just so you can understand the most basics. Now, and another thing is you can have progressions. So if I have a stool right here. Okay, if I have a little stool right here, we can do it sitting down. Now, how do we do it sitting down? Same thing. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Twist. You're going to have core action. You're going to have chest action. You're going to have your whole thoracic cage opening up and spinning around. Sitting down, you don't really get too much hip action. But standing up, you can really open up those hips, the glutes, the hamstrings, and those are the things that help me. Even just my back is still a little sore because I just hurt it this week doing because I'm getting into all kinds of other things. You know, we're always lifting and moving in ways that we probably shouldn't be. So let's get into our robot stance, right? Just opposite. So if my right hand is forward, so my left leg should be forward and planted. And we're going to use every single muscle in our body. So we're going to start at our feet, and you're going to plant your feet. You're going to wiggle your toes. You're going to pretend you're grabbing the ground. Really glue that front lead leg to the ground, and your back one, you could play with it. When it's down, play with what's comfortable for you. I like this stance because I feel like I can get a little bit more hip action. So get your balance. Okay, so plant that lower foot to the ground. Really grab the floor. Pretend your foot is a hand. Then you're going to come up to the muscle of your calf, and you're going to really squeeze that muscle. Then up here in your thigh and your hamstring and your glute, you're going to squeeze that too. So my whole left leg is activated. I feel it all the way from my glute all the way down to my toes. So it looks like an easy robot walk, but there is so many components to you, and I want you to experience the benefits. And this is such a fun little thing you can do with your kids, you can do it with your whole family, and you just pretend to be robots. Okay. You could even do it at work when you're on the psych floor doing 15-minute rounds, in the ER walking around. They might look at you a little crazy, but it's okay. Then they'll ask you what you're doing, and then you show them. And then you guys robot walk all the way around to wherever you're going. Okay. So we're going to plant that lead leg. And then that arm. So this is where the beauty happens, right? You're going to engage your core. So you're going to squeeze your muscles. You still haven't let go of any of that tension in your foot, your calf, your thigh, both the quads and your hamstrings, your glute. And then you're going to start twisting, and you're going to feel the more you twist, you have to engage though, because remember, especially if you just did some rolling out, some foam rolling, or use the orange dowel stick like I just did and just popped my hip back in place, we got to put it back into where it needs to go. So once we come right here, we're going to twist. We're going to twist all the way. So we're going to now engage our core, and then as more I engage, I feel a pulling back here. For me, it was my left hip that was out. So even if you don't have your hips out and your back doesn't hurt, you're going to feel such a stretch. The more you engage and the more you really reach for this, you're going to feel a great stretch. So take a couple deep breaths. Now you're going to rotate your chest. So make sure everything is staying super strong. And that back leg, start squeezing the back leg too. You're going to squeeze that back leg. Same thing. Strong foot, meaning engaging. So squeeze like those it's isotonic. You're not moving. You're just squeezing. You're just squeezing. And as you squeeze, you're going to feel a stretch. You're putting load on it. So you're going to keep squeezing. And you're going to work those muscles. And it's also going to stretch it, work them all at the same time. Whew, I'm sweating from doing that. Okay, then we're going to switch legs. All right, so I'm going to put my right foot forward. I'm showing you sideways. I should have panned out or did something else, but right now this is what we're working with. So same thing. So remember, this was our beginning position. Same thing. We're just going to robot walk, right? And if you're not good with balance, you go a little bit faster there, right? But if you want a little bit more challenge and work on your balance, then you're gonna slow down and you're gonna go right, switch. And then this is stretching my whole fascia band all the way around me. And it feels so good. It's such a good stretch. See, so you can add a little balance, and depending on where your balance is, closer to the ground, it's gonna be a little less of a challenge. But if you want more of a challenge, you're gonna come up. Whoa, see, look. And you're going to really, again, we have to grab the ground the whole time, working every single muscle. So we're going to grab the ground and you're just going to come out, right? And this is going to be this. Even stand here, right? This is the world famous robot walk. And this adds the balance. And this is great. If you just keep walking in a robot, you will be balanced, right? And pretend there is a string pulling you up. Pretend there's something pulling you up, a string just pulling you straight up. You want your head right over the center axis of your body. And so this week, every time I got up, my hips and my back were so stiff. Like, I sitting down, laying down, and I get up and I go, oh, and I'd be really stiff. And I go, oh, I don't want to move. And so I would stand up and I'd resume world famous robot walk position. And I would really just stretch through those. And then I was able, still not 100%, but I was able to walk without pain. I was way more fluid. And I just kept doing that. Before I got on those long bike rides this week, I woke up and I robot walked. I got out of my car and I robot walked to the bike. I got off the bike and I robot walked. I wasn't so stuck. And this is just one of my favorite things to work out. And it's like a constant isometric exercise. And isometric means just hold like this, pushing. See, I'm not moving anywhere. When you push against gravity or you just flex your muscles. If I'm just flexing and not moving, so if I just flex, right, and don't do anything else, that's isometric. But when we start adding movement, those are eccentric and concentric. But anyways, you don't need to know all of that. But we have flexion, we have extension, we have this is flexing in an isometric hold. I don't know, something like that. But so you can great sweat, great workout, great stretch, but just moving. And then, as you're in those poses, we're going to hold again, right? Let's do this side. Every time just reaching forward a little bit more. Move the arm up a little bit. Really gets that rotation in your chest and your abs. But thank you guys so much for joining me and staying to the end. If this helped you in some way, or if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I would love to hear some feedback from you guys.